Call the police? Sure. In our mid-20s, my husband and I purchased and moved into our rather modest first house with our infant daughter. I made a big effort to meet and befriend our neighbors, and all of them warned me to be careful of one particular person, Jane. Jane had lived in the street for 3 years at this point and had earned herself the nickname Big Fat Jane, as she was manipulating, intimidating, and thoroughly awful. Jane ran a daycare from her house, but neighbors on both sides reported hearing her scream at the children and leave them unsupervised in the garden. It's important to note that Jane's partner is a police officer. The neighbors were scared of retaliation if they reported her or stood up to her. It seemed Jane would use this to get away with her horrific behavior. Our house had a driveway with a dropped curb big enough for one car, but we could fit both if you blocked in the first and only used the second car. Parking on the street was very limited, and we had double yellow lines outside our house. Not allowed to stop, park there. During some essential roof work, our driveway was taken up by scaffolding and a skip, so we parked in the street and my husband parked outside BFJ's house. The next day when he went to his car, BFJ came running down her path shouting at him. She screamed about his anti-social parking, that his car would be towed and that he could expect it to be scratched up if he left it there any longer. My husband calmly explained it was a public road and she had not right to police the space. Her screeches at this point were loud enough that I and several neighbors heard and came to see the commotion. Her partner was perched at the door during all of this, saying and doing nothing. When she saw me on pavement with our daughter, she pointed and screamed, "You'll have the social on you if you don't FCK off. I'll scratch you right up." At this point I told my husband to come back and we were calling the police. She responded, "Call the Pollock. I FCking dare you. He's," pointing at her partner, "a policeman. He'll FCking sort you out. You won't know what hit you." At this point my husband looked at her husband and said, "Is that right? And you're agreeing with what she said?" The partner nodded and said, "You need to move or accept the consequences. You call the police. It won't get you anywhere." Quote. Funnily, when I then took out my phone and dialed the non-police emergency number on speakerphone and made a police report, both of them looked a lot less confident. BFJ stood there open-mouthed, then grabbed her partner and slammed the door. And we haven't heard from her since. Her partner was placed on suspension due to the allegation and further allegations from our neighbors. He then returned to an admin role. After our confrontation, BFJ was given a warning for a public order offense. However, due to a number of reports, her daycare closed and she is no longer able to mind children. Their house is up for sale. However, as she made a number of modifications without proper planning or workspeople, its price is significantly lower than they expected and they're in negative equity. All because of a parking space. Edit. Sorry for the initial lack of paragraphs. This is better than a cup of coffee for starting my day right. You know, maybe you were lucky. Bad neighbors can be a real nightmare and the good guys don't always win. Especially when one is a police. Glad it worked for you though. Nice. Nothing like calling people on their bullshit. Boom. Sweet revenge. Love it when karma works properly. Although true karma would have probably seen them incarcerated. It should be noted, if anyone is afraid of police retaliation, that getting in touch with the Internal Affairs Department should get you somewhere. They exist to investigate, fuck up police officers like this. I so wanted to call someone who came to my sister-in-law's house. That sounds exactly like BFJ. Except she was threatening that she worked as a prison warden and she knows a lot of people in the police force. I so wanted to call her out on her BS. But it wasn't my place to defend or make things more difficult for sister-in-law further down the road. As soon as you said Big Fat Jane, I knew this was UK-based. Glad hiding behind her good-for-nothing police officer got her nowhere. There's too many on a power trip. Satisfying. It costs literally $0 to stay in your lane and mind your own goddamn business, and I hope she remembers that next time. Dang. You managed to clean up the neighborhood with one call. Bravo. Man, this is almost our pro-revenge territory. Hell yeah. Way to go. That was complete BS. Especially BFJ's S.O. stating that calling the cops would get you nowhere. I offer a long-distance high five from Northeast Florida. I will be sending positive vibes your way, and I sincerely hope that more disciplinary actions are taken toward the husband, boyfriend, abusing his position as a Leo to attempt to intimidate you and your S.O. Y'all were completely in the right when it comes to the ability to park on a public road. Sorry you have to deal with someone like BFJ and her stuck-up boyfriend, husband. Honestly, it's even sadder that BFJ was the one to first threaten you with her partner's status as a Leo. To think she probably gets off doing that to people. I wouldn't be surprised if she doesn't try to use that elsewhere as well. Blessed be and stay safe. Positive vibes headed your way. This feels like England. This is the reason people need to call people out on their shit. Imagine if one of the neighbors had called the police years before. They would have saved all of that headache for everyone else. Man, it's just sad seeing the people who are supposed to protect us abusing their power. Sad face. This is awesome. Growing up, our neighbor 3 doors down was an RCMP officer. He would routinely have hot tub parties until 3 a.m. I wanted to call the cops, but my dad wouldn't allow it. He said the second most stupid thing you can do is call the cops on the cops. I asked what the stupidest thing would be, and he responded that he hasn't figured that out yet. Officer here. Citizen complaints in my department are looked at thoroughly, and if you're caught being a dick, abusing your power, you had better start looking for a new job. Plus all your buddies hate you because it makes them look bad too. Should have replied to her, he's a police officer? Big fat deal. I'm calling anyways. Righteous. Bad cop gets punished. How did you start that conversation with the non-emergency line? You know. So they took the report seriously?
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Eracast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.